pleased to welcome François Heisbourg, Chair of the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Thank you for speaking with us. What will you remember from this NATO summit? Will it be the part at the end and those triumphant remarks we heard from the French and US presidents, or the finger-pointing that we saw on Wednesday?
I will remember the extraordinary moment somewhat after midday when some of the press agencies started mentioning that Trump was threatening to leave NATO, and the stunned reactions of officials in Brussels. I don't know whether Trump threatened to leave NATO or not. President Macron says that he didn't, but certainly the wires carried it. But there was that moment where all of a sudden, what the hell is going on? I mean, so, is this the day on which we're going to go over the brink?
What do you make of it? Is it just his way of bargaining, or did he really want to leave it?
There are two things. First, there is his way of bargaining, The Art of the Deal, the famous book. You know, you ask for 4%, and if you end up with 2%, you are happy because that's exactly what you wanted at the beginning. You know, that there is that tactical aspect. That's the way he operates. Whether it's smart or not is another issue. You declare everything to be a success, like a denuclearization of North Korea, is the other example. But then you have the more strategic vision of Trump. Trump, for the last 30 years, has been on the record dissing NATO, dissing the European Union, dissing the World Trade Organization. He doesn't like multilateral organizations. He wants relations to be transactional and bilateral. And in practice, he does treat those who are not his allies, like Xi Jinping or Putin, with much more respect than the people who still believe that they are allies of the United States of America, like Angela Merkel, or indeed Theresa May, who may be flattering and appeasing, to use the words of your previous topic. But flattery doesn't get you very far with Trump, as we saw at the Washington trip of Macron. And appeasement, he immediately interprets as craven weakness, and he exploits it to the hilt.
All right, I don't want to go into psychological profiling of a man that you and I don't know personally. But so let me ask you this. Is there a strong move in the United States to end what scholars call the Pax Americana, the fact that the U.S. sort of is the world's gendarme?
Yeah, there was a Twitter message a couple of hours ago by John McCain, who is very, very ill, dying of cancer, the arch-Atlanticist senator, enormously respected, and he was saying Trump doesn't speak for the United States. I wish he were right, because the fact is that the Republicans in the Senate and elsewhere in the Congress are not reacting particularly negatively against the way Trump treats Putin, that is with great friendliness, and the way he treats traditional allies of the US, like Theresa May or Angela Merkel, maybe because they're women. The Republican Party, as we say in French, appears to be eating out of Donald Trump's hand. After all, the midterm elections are only a few months away. This is not a time for disunity. So Trump is running with his own ball, and nobody in Congress is trying to prevent him from doing that.
All right, we saw the political theater at the NATO summit, finger-pointing on Wednesday, professions of unity on the Thursday. What about next Monday when he sits down with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki?
Well, we'll see. First, there will be the Britain and Scotland interlude, and I fear the worst, since he's already stated that the Brexit agreement, the negotiating position which the British have just made public, is maybe not exactly what Brexit voters had been expecting. So he's already starting to muddle into British politics.
And blasting immigration into Europe. But
voilà. So that is even before he meets Putin. And it's going to be 4 long days before he meets Putin. Then he meets Putin. And there...
It'll just be political theater there. Can he...
No. No, I mean, it'll be like the Kim Jong-un meeting in Singapore, which had, no doubt, a lot of political theater. But there was also substantive stuff, like Donald Trump announcing something which John Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, was definitely not expecting, the stopping of American exercises in South Korea because Kim Jong-un considered that they were too provocative. In the press conference today, Trump was asked a question, will you talk about American exercises in Eastern Europe with Putin? And Donald Trump answered, yes, that's going to be one of the topics. This is not a good time to be an ally of the United States in Europe.
François Heisbourg, Chair of the International Institute for Strategic Studies, thank you for joining us.